Welcome everyone to week 4 of the June Advisor Ambassador Program. My name is Zach Hewells and I'm the Program Engagement Manager at NAFA. It's hard to believe that we are at our 4th class for June already. Time has really flown and this whole year has flown, as we were just talking about. But really excited to keep everything rolling here. If you have any questions during the presentation, I'm sure you all know, use the chat feature. We'd be happy to try and get to them at the end of the presentation. Really excited to have NAFA Pennsylvania's own Karina Hatfield here today with us. Karina has shared her expertise with us in months past, and we are, like I said, super excited to hear more of her perspective in the leadership side of things in the industry. Karina, welcome. Really excited to have you here today. Can't wait to hear more.
Thank you, Zach, and thank you to everyone for joining us the week of a holiday. I know if we probably had this on a Thursday or Friday, I'd be lacking in attendance, I think a little bit more, but happy you're all here on a Tuesday afternoon. Thank you so much for spending some time with me and some time this past month with the other phenomenal ladies that have shared some information. So kind of working today on leadership in the industry and your community. I've been in the industry my entire life, as some of you had heard moments ago. My dad and grandfather were both insurance agents in the industry. We've been around, my grandfather started with his practice in 1948. So I kind of grown up and have some fun childhood stories about that. So, you know, very involved. My father here, which is the picture on the left, the man on the left here in this picture, he was a NAFA trustee. So grew up involved in leadership, involved in our community, very involved in that. That's where our office is, where I grew up today. It is in, I don't live there. I live about 20 minutes south, but our office is always where it was, just down the street. We've kind of moved up and down the street a little bit over the last 30 years. So happy to share a little bit about my experience with leadership, not only within insurance and financial advising, but also in my community, being a part of that. So this first picture here I'll share with you. Again, on the left is Bob Wigner, my father, who I got to take the practice from and run today. And then on the right hand side is Doug Trainer. He actually worked in our practice for a while. He has been a great influence in my life as a leader. He took Lily. He was actually my Lily mentor, and we'll talk a little bit about Lily. I know some other classes have talked a lot about that, and it is very important to us and very dear and near to my heart. He was my Lily mentor. He's gotten me involved in a lot of community things, events that we do to raise money and raise awareness for various different causes in our town, and just a great all-around guy and a great all-around friend. So a shout out to those two who are great leaders and have helped me be who I am today. So this is a quote, John Maxwell. If you haven't heard of him, which I'm sure you all have, but there's some great books. And in Lily, in the leadership class, we read some books and discuss some things that he has. But this is something I like, especially looking at advisors who are new to the business or younger in age, that leadership is not about titles, positions, or flow charts. It's about one life influencing another. And I know when I first started in the business, I went to my first state convention. I passed, at the time, you had to be life licensed. I got my life license, and like 3 weeks later was our first convention. And I attended that, and I was hearing people say different things about volunteer positions. And I kept on thinking to myself, just because I have leadership experience outside of our industry, well, I could do that, and I could do that. And I was very hesitant about saying anything, one, because I was 24 at the time, and the demographic was not me at that convention, but you know, sat there saying, well, I can do this. But my position in our office was a customer service rep. I was licensed, but I answered the phones and I took payments, and that was kind of where I was. So thinking that I wasn't a leader wasn't true at all. as I'll share a little bit, but just understanding that you can be a leader in the industry and you can be a leader in your community, but maybe not necessarily be the manager or be the boss. And I think that's one thing we need to focus on and remember when we're looking at that, ways we can share and be a leader when we aren't the boss or we aren't the manager, we're not the agency owner, because you need to be a leader yourself to succeed. So leadership skills. I encourage everyone to take some form of leadership test. I listed here two that are recommended. There's a Myers-Briggs test or emotional intelligence test. There's some tests that are color-coded, tests that look like kites or not like kites, and where you are in that grid, and I just have some pictures there. But I really encourage you to find a leadership test to take advantage of that. There's a lot to be said with leadership tests and a lot to be found when you take them and you're honest about them. And I would say you need to be in a non-stressful place to take a leadership test so you kind of get a whole picture of yourself. But a lot of schools of thought on, I take a leadership test, do I increase my strengths? I take a leadership test and I hear about my weaknesses or what I'm lacking. Do I work then on those? And there's different things that you can, different ways back and forth on reasons why you would do one versus the other. And I will say in my experience, I've done both, right? So I have taken my strengths and I'm hyper aware of those strengths. And so I know what I can easily do. I'm a more people person. I'm more talk and work on things. I'm very bad on the analytics of things. And I know this. And not that I don't want to work on the organization or I don't want to work on the analytics of things. But when I'm hiring someone or when I'm in a position where I need some help, I know that those things I'm going to struggle with. So I might not volunteer to be the treasurer. I was the secretary for a little bit and I had to get a template. I knew when I was the secretary of our state association, use the template from the person before you. Don't create a new one because it's going to be horrible. Use what that person had because it's a tool that they've created and that's where they're better off in the analytics and organizational side of things. And that's what I hired to. So my office manager, who just so happens to also be my sister, is very much the opposite of me. She doesn't like talking to people. She's not really good with the customer service side and she'll share that. I'm not telling anyone anything she does, she's not aware of. But she's very good with spreadsheets. She's very good with doing the bills and the paperwork and things like that and keeping things organized and scanned. And that's not me. So when we're building our practice, that's, me being the leader and recognizing that is not something I'm good at. I recognize that I need to hire that and I need to embrace that in someone else. So that's where you might want to look in that leadership realm and say, oh, I'm good with forward facing, or I'm not good with forward facing. So I need to hire some people who can talk and can have that conversation and engage. I'm more good with analytics, or also when you're working together with someone and doing a presentation, you can go back and forth. You can have that person share the analytics. You could be the person who talks most of it, things like that. So, recognizing that and your leadership skills, I think, are huge in seeing how you want to be involved, not just here in financial advising and insurance, but also how you want to get involved in your community. Do you want to get involved in your Chamber of Commerce by doing registration? Or do you want to get involved in the Chamber of Commerce by being that person at a networking event, introducing people to people? So there's different ways that you can get involved and be in that leadership position and share things everywhere by knowing your strength and weaknesses. So leadership in the industry, I will share. This isn't that old, but my hair is a lot longer. So leadership in the industry, I would say, it's a lot, and in the community, it's a lot about helping others. Here is Christine Pacutis-Musanegi and Joe Marazzo. They are both Pennsylvania state past presidents, very good friends of mine. I've coerced them to do multiple running relays and all kinds of stuff, and we have a great relationship in and outside of the industry. I will share that none of us are in the same practice specialty. I'm more on the property and casualty. Joe does accounting and financial advising. Christine is a huge financial planner. So we all work separately in different things, help each other, share things with each other, and have fun outside and inside the industry, and are great friends. But so ways you can help. There's more to being a business partner and just sharing referrals. There's a bunch of different ways, and I've kind of picked 5 ones that I really like, ways to help other people kind of everywhere. Recognize them, right? It's the easiest thing. So someone helps you, recognize them on social media, recognize them just one-on-one, recognize them in a public manner. So recognizing someone that does something to help you, just, it builds you up, but also builds somebody else up as well. Bring business their way. If someone asks you for a particular product or a service, might not be part of what you do, bring someone else in to help that out. They're going to go to you then as an expert or a person that they trust. And that's what we want to be, right? Someone that our clients trust to use us as a sounding board for financial advice, for insurance advice. We want to be that person. So sharing who we know and who we use, who we enjoy. I will caution on particular products or sharing things in that I know in the property and casualty space, we have to refer a certain number of contractors or things like that. So just make sure you're checking with if there's a limit that your company wants you to share on different things. But have those people, have those attorneys, have those people that you can share some information with, and can refer if asked for by your clients. Volunteer your time. So the busiest people make time to help others out. It's always the busy people that get it done and make sure it happens somehow. So volunteer some time. Block out your schedule to volunteer some time and make something a commitment. So if you have 1 hour a week or 1 hour a month, make sure you do something meaningful with that you're passionate about, but volunteer your time. Share your knowledge. And I'll share a little bit about this. Being in the industry and being in the business for 15 years, when I started, I very much lacked a personal brand, right? So I just started out. I was 24. I worked for my dad. Like I said, I was a customer service rep. I didn't have a personal brand. There was no my name. Well, my maiden name was on the door, but my name wasn't on the door. And I was working for a company. So I really lacked what I would say a personal brand. And so trying to find something to get myself branded and is to share your knowledge. Be that your knowledge of the industry, be that your knowledge of the community, be that your knowledge of something that you were involved in high school or college, or you have a passion for. Share that, because that's going to help create that brand of yours that's going to keep you moving and help you to find that niche market that's going to help you with sales. And I'll share this. So when I first started, bento boxes, which I don't even honestly know if they are something that like people do anymore, but that was like brand new, right? So everybody was meal prepping with bento boxes. And my one of my girlfriends from high school, she had this blog, and she was doing all these recipes for healthy meals with bento boxes. And so I was like, oh my goodness, I have this network of people. I'm a young professional who are all trying to eat healthier or are busy, have young families. I created a postcard with her, and it was great. We collaborated. I hadn't talked to her in forever. And we collaborated to make this postcard that I sent to all of my clients, trying to create this personal brand about me caring, and a nice healthy meal and using bento boxes. So that was something I started with, and started creating that niche of people that I wanted to then network with and create a clientele basis for myself. So I was starting to create that personal brand, and I did that every quarter for a couple years until I got in with those young families. So it wasn't something that was natural to me, or I had this natural market, but it then came that that's what it was. So I will say, share your knowledge. If you're, I was a Girl Scout I still am actually, I'm a Girl Scout leader. And so I share some knowledge from Girl Scouts and things like that pretty much everywhere. But I have that knowledge, and that's helping create my personal brand. But if you know, it takes some time, and over the years, and I'm still not, I wouldn't say I'm still there, or anyone really is. It takes a lot of time, and that's a good start, is to find something to create that personal brand and share your knowledge, because you know, might not have that logo yet, or might not have that business up and running. It's just you, or you and one admin or something like that, and you can start working on it that way. And then my last thing on ways to help is to give feedback. So people often will tell peers, you know, what they want to hear. Yeah, you did a great job, you know, and not actually give anything constructive. And we need that. I know the first time I did this presentation, or not this presentation, another presentation, I had a run through with some other associates, and they gave me great feedback, and they were people I really wasn't close with, and I really appreciated that feedback in that presentation. We just did one, I know, in sales school when I started, you had to be videotaped. And so many people shy away from that, and I don't enjoy it either by any means. But getting to see how you interact and see what you change. I used to wear this bracelet that jangled all the time, and watching it in a video for about 5 seconds, I was so annoyed. And so I could tell that myself, right? So getting that feedback and working with someone, I know, especially now we're in this space, and I don't think that this will go away, the Zoom, the GoToMeetings and that type of stuff. I think people are going to want to continue to do that. So work on those run-throughs before the presentation with the person, and get some feedback. Practice with some people. I know I've done that for a couple people and couple presentations. Even within NAFA Pennsylvania, we've done some videos and practice things, and it's really made you confident as you go through. So get that feedback, ask for that feedback, and if you're looking for it, or you know somebody, you know, maybe it's a situation where somebody you can tell wants feedback, but might not want to go through that practice run through. Say, hey, you know, do you want to run through with me doing something first, and then maybe run through with them? It would really be beneficial. It shows that you care, helping create that leadership in you. So ways to be a leader, and I've kind of alluded to this, you know, you can be a leader in all different directions. So you can be at the bottom of that hierarchy, which I despise, but bottom of that hierarchy in management, or in your corporate structure. And you can be a leader in that by sharing your expertise, by giving feedback, by helping others. You can be a leader laterally, you know, you can be a leader, and obviously you're the boss, you're the manager. Be a leader by helping people below you in that hierarchy. But make sure you're managing your time wisely. And that's where I caution, you know, there's a million ways you can help someone. And I just shared 5 different things that could take up all your time, so you're not doing anything in your actual business to grow your clients. But, you know, make sure you manage your time wisely, and see what you have available to do that, but make time for it, and know that you can be a leader in your community by collaborating with somebody else evenly. You can be, you know, you don't have to be the president. You don't have to be the chair. You don't have to be, you know, that named person to be a leader. It's more about that, more about what you're doing than what that title is. Some industry leadership, which I love. You know, there's volunteering with your state association or affiliate association. This picture here is us in front of Capitol Hill in Harrisburg, getting involved with PAC or PIC, your political action committee, which is donating funds, or PIC, your political involvement committee. If you have someone you know or familiar with that is a legislator. I was very hesitant. I'm not politically, and I wasn't politically involved, and didn't have that much knowledge base nor passion, I would say, when I first started. And I was asked to attend a Day on the Hill, which is our state hosted, and gave us some knowledge. And I said, what am I going to talk to? How am I even going to talk to these people? Not thinking that they actually are humans that, you talk to. It was a higher being. And so, we had this briefing and had this conversation and knowledge, and I found a way to talk to them and have a great relationship now with our congressmen and women, that they call me about auto insurance questions, or they'll call me about life insurance questions, be it for personal or for what's going on in our industry. I've been involved and named on some health involvement with health stuff in Pennsylvania, and I've answered some questions. So just sharing my knowledge, have been able to be that person of leadership in our state, which I love now, and was very apprehensive, and I don't think I ever thought I would be in that position, but attending that state Day on the Hill, and then national congressional conference, which hopefully next year will be in person. It was a great event virtually this year, but that feeling of descending on the hill and having all those people at Capitol Hill is amazing. So, and also attending the P+B, your Performance Plus Purpose Conference, NAIFA's national conference, just get all kinds of information. I will share this as far as an example of industry leadership. We were involved in, back in Pennsylvania, it's probably been about 10, 15 years now, that there was a sprinkler law that came into play. And so they were saying that any home, when it needed to be rebuilt, if there was a loss, had to have sprinklers put in it. And we became an industry expert on this, and actually were asked to speak and give our knowledge and advice on what that would do to insurance and homeowners insurance, because that coverage didn't exist, or a lot of people didn't have it. So if they had this expense of putting sprinklers in. So we were involved in that. We were involved then with our company that I represent mainly, in making sure that coverage does get added into every policy, and it is today. And then also working with the Firemen's Association, some other associations, to try and fight this law that came into play. So there are many things that you don't even realize. You can be there and be active and be involved. And make sure you share it with your clients. I know when we're out of the office, we are a small office, and when we're out of the office for things like congressional conference, or we were even on the Zoom calls this year, we're out of the office, we're attending leadership, we're attending leadership training, we're doing right by you, our clients, by doing this. And we shared that information. And I think a lot of our clients, it was interesting me sharing that with our clients, when they said, hey, I had to leave a message, or hey, you weren't in the office. No, this is what I was doing. They're like, oh my gosh, you do that for us? Yes, we do. How many other people do that? I'm like, I don't know why every other insurance agent doesn't do it. You all should. And this was something that I was sharing, and a great thing to tell my clients, hey, I'm down on Capitol Hill fighting for you. And they appreciate that. And that's a way to have that extra push and extra relationship, extra bit of caring with your clients. So definitely something to consider. So how to develop some leadership skills. NAIFA has a million things to offer, and then there's a million things outside of it, but a million great things to offer. And I highlighted a few here. So networking with other industry leaders. I know our state association through the pandemic has done some happy hours, and it's been great to just chit chat and have some guided conversation the way we would if we were in person. NAIFA National has done some amazing NAIFA Live sessions, the advanced practices symposiums, these webinars here that you can get, long-term training, long-term care training, things like that. So joining NAIFA and just being involved, showing up, being active, and saying you're here is a way to develop some leadership skills. A big thing that we offer is the NAIFA's Leadership in Life Institute. Last year, I was able to moderate Pennsylvania's class, and I took it back in '06. And I will say it was a game changer for me, and not just in the industry and finding out what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be. But in my life, it's changed every aspect of how I'm involved with my children, with my husband, with my volunteer efforts. And it's really put that extra push where I don't feel, I do a million things, but I don't feel spread thin in any one of those areas. And that's really helped me to focus on what I want to be involved in and where I want to be in the future. It helped me look to the future and say, what do I want my life to look like? Or what do I want for the next 5 years or in the next 10 years? What do I want people to remember me by? And really focus on that. So I'd really say, if you haven't looked at it yet, please look at that for when we can have those classes. I know some classes are up and running and continuing, and some will have to wait until we can be in person again. Another big thing that's helped me is my LUTCF designation. It really helped me find my personal brand, see where I wanted to focus my business, because when I started, you're all over the place. You just want business, right? You don't care where it comes from, and you just need to make money. And so that designation specifically really helped me in the beginning focus on where I wanted to be and what I wanted to create for myself for a personal brand, and really focus that time and understand that I need to focus some time in community involvements to then grow my business. I need to focus some time in my industry and maybe learning about stuff that I don't sell, but learning about stuff that I don't sell or I don't provide, so I can provide the right person that can, and give the right advice when suitable for me to give. So being that leader, being that trusted advisor, and that really helped do that. So that's my little plug on NAIFA stuff. But outside of NAIFA, how do I develop leadership skills? What's some easy ways? Find out what your company has to offer. I know a lot of them offer classes that you might not even be aware of, or training that you might not be aware of, that might be free. I had a good friend of mine just remind me of our local SCORE chapter, because she wants to start a restaurant. And she reached out to SCORE. So I went in and saw I'm like, what do they have? They have all kinds of stuff. They have virtual one-on-one trainings. They have virtual sessions that are free on how to run a business, how to file your taxes. What do you want to do? What kind of entity do you want to have? All of that. And you know, that's there, and SCOREs all over the country. So check out your local SCORE chapter, and your local Chamber of Commerce. I have been involved in my local Chamber of Commerce since before I was in this industry. I was a massage therapist before this, and I was in my local Chamber of Commerce there, and has done me a world of networking with my community for almost, you know, you're involved in your Chamber of Commerce, and that's typically a bunch of small business owners, and they're all there to help each other. So definitely work on that. So I got involved and picked, you know, I want to be involved. I kind of wish-wash with my Chamber of Commerce being very active and not at all. And so I wanted to make my goal for 2020 to have intention with my local Chamber of Commerce, but again, managing my time, right? So I talked to the president and I said, hey, this is, you know, I want to be involved and I want a commitment and I want something I can obviously get some referrals out of. What can I do? Where do you see me fit? And she said, let me think about it, which I thought was great. She didn't want to just spout out all the things that was there. She was a great leader in saying to me, let me think about where I think you will best be fit. So about a month later, she came back to me and said, you know, we're going to redevelop the women's luncheon. It was called WOW, Women of the Workplace. And I really like you to be involved in that. And here's your commitment. It's 1 hour a month, and then the meetings. Absolutely, I think I can do that. So I became involved in this committee that we've renamed REACH. And since the pandemic, we scheduled a whole host of things that had to be canceled this year. And we're trying to find some ways to be virtual. And in that, when we first thought this pandemic was going to last for 2 weeks, everyone was going to be in their homes for 2 weeks, and that was going to be great, and everything was going to be over. I had said, hey, me and one of the other younger women that are in that, I said, we are willing to host and promote an event where we can just network, not programmed, just network and get to know each other. And she said, great, you know. So then a couple weeks went by and we realized we're going to be in our homes for a lot longer than expected. And she said, hey, would you mind hosting a coffee chat via Zoom, you know? And I said, okay, I'm not really good with Zoom. I've got, my one experience was this call a couple months ago. I'm like, yeah, I've had one experience with Zoom, and sure, why not do that? So she sets it up, and now we have this. So it's been going on for about 2 months, and I'm the leader of this bi-weekly coffee chat with a bunch of women that are in our chamber. And we've been sharing personal experience, professional experience, and really gotten to know each other. And had I not stepped up, I don't know, maybe somebody else would have volunteered, but I became the leader of this group naturally, and I love it. You know, I had some personal stuff go on last week that I couldn't be on the call, and honestly, 15 other women emailed me throughout the week asking, "Hey, how are you doing? Is everything okay? Do you need a time to chat?" And these are 15 women that I typically would not talk to under any other circumstance. So, you know, I got to be the leader for them, and I'm, you know, naturally guiding this conversation of leadership every other week, and it's fabulous, and I love it. So reach out to your local chamber and find ways that you can work and use your skills and best suited. So leadership in your community. Again, what are you passionate about? And as I've alluded to before, there's some pictures there. The picture, that's my sister, my office manager, and I'm being awarded some leadership awards in Girl Scouts for my development and training. I used to train adults on how to be Girl Scout leaders. That was one of the things I did. I loved it. I loved making parents who maybe didn't have any skill in being a Girl Scout leader, helping them out. And I was a Girl Scout my entire life, and love still being a Girl Scout leader today, and training leaders on how to be leaders. The REACH, that's our new name for Women of the Workplace, and our big thing is to empower and connect. So, and our big thing with REACH, just like being a leader, is you can reach many different ways. You can reach across, you can reach above, you can reach down and help and empower and connect. And then my last is our Ragnar, which is I captain our relay with all my NAFA buddies, and we have a great time and get together, and we go camping or hang out on the road in a van relay throughout the night and all kinds of stuff. And I've coerced some other NAFA members and family and friends to all get together and have this great relationship that we've been strong for 6 years now doing. And they're my passions. So find out what you enjoy and ways that you can get into that leadership role, and hopefully get some business out of it too. So leadership in your community. Who needs help? You know, if you don't have those organizations or don't have those things, how can you help? There are a million people that you can reach out to. You can reach out to Boys and Girls Clubs. You can reach out to young professionals, community clubs, your nonprofits, charities, youth organizations. I know on Facebook, when school was still in session, we had a teacher in our community that was asking if we wanted to come in and talk about our job and what skills we needed and if people would like it. You know, a business teacher in high school. So find out ways that you can share your brand and get that awareness without having to do a professional, you know, webinar or layout or anything like that. You know, you can go in and talk to some high school kids. I know I have some colleagues that have done the night school, adult school, and share their expertise in tax or other things. So get involved in your community in that way. I know I've asked, and one of the things I share, being a Girl Scout leader, there are a million things that they can work on that I have no knowledge in. So I reach out actually to the chamber. I reach out to my friends and say, hey, who's good in art? I am not. Who's good with their budget and finance? Come in and talk to them about goal setting. Reach out to these people or make it aware to people that you are here to share that information and knowledge. And that's a way that you can share your skill, share your leadership, and hopefully get some referrals in business too. So leadership, right? Get up and do something. And I hope today I've shared a little bit about myself, or a lot about myself, in a way, ways that you can just get up, get out and do something. And I really urge you today, don't wait until, you know, we're back to normal or whatever that is. Don't wait until after this holiday weekend. Take some time today to think about what you can do now to increase your leadership skills or work on your leadership skills. Be it by the end of the week, I'm going to figure out what leadership test or leadership training I'm going to take in next, or what leadership book or podcast I'm going to listen to next. Just do something. Get out and do something before the end of the week to work on that. And I strongly encourage that and think you will get that ball rolling, right? So I wanted to share my information and say thank you. Obviously, take any questions or comments. And that's my presentation, Zach.
Karina, thank you so much. You know, as always, appreciate your time and your expertise as well. I have some great notes here as well, some takeaways for myself. So I'm definitely going to get up and do something this week, but I hope everyone else does as well. Are there any questions? Fulfill there. Pause for a sec. I mean, if not, you know, I know that this month has flown by, and I've you know, really appreciated having everyone on these calls. It's been a great month, full of awesome leadership, and you know, ties it all up with this leadership presentation as well. So, thank you again, Karina. Really, really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you all for spending the month and making that commitment to this and to yourself. And I really hope to see you at some events, either via Zoom or in person, hopefully in the near future, and get to know and network with all of you.
Couldn't agree more. Well, I hope everyone has a great rest of their day and great rest of their week, and has a safe and good holiday weekend. And yeah, hope everyone take care.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.